February of each year will be REOCA's anniversary. However, it's also our annual meeting. So I am going to give them an overview of all the things that we have accomplished in the last year. And this was a wonderful beginning because part of REOCA's plan is to be part of the solution. And the way our members have chosen to be part of the solution is by getting solar panels on their roof. So if this sounded enticing to anyone and you want to be part of the solution, please let us know and we'll be more than happy to help you out. This would be a wonderful time to get into solar because in the last spending package passed in Congress in December, the federal tax credit was extended by 2 years. This is really a big deal. If you purchase solar panels by the end of 2022, you're eligible to receive 26% tax credit. And that's right off the top. That's like if you spend $30,000, you'll get 26% off of that. And if you wait until 2023, you'll still have 22% tax credit. So if you are thinking about doing it, it's a really good time to do it. We're very excited that this happened. It was doubtful, but it went through. Another cool thing about solar, besides going outside and watching your meter run backwards, is they come with some really cool apps. You can see how much CO2 emissions. This is one of our members, Ken Dante, has had his system, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but I think September 2017. And in that time, he has saved 8.8 tons of CO2 emissions that he has not put into the atmosphere. He's done this by...
So Raj, this is just for last year.
Oh, really? I thought it was the life of the system.
No, no. So
okay, wow, that's even better.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to plug two numbers in there, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people, especially in Pueblo, where electric rates are extremely high, they get these solar systems purely from the economics of it. Okay. So last year, my economic savings for my system, I provide 100% of my energy. I saved over $1,800. Okay.
Wow.
Now, if you convert that 8.8 tons of CO2 that I saved, the environment, and monetize that. And the way I monetize that is I look at what the average gasoline price is. 901 gallons of gas is what I saved. That's equivalent to about $2,500. So the impact that a rooftop solar person has is much bigger impact to the environment than it is to the economy, the economics of it. So, it's kind of a double whammy. I'm making a big savings in my economics, and I'm making even a bigger savings to the environment.
That's excellent. Thank you, Ken. I thought that was for the 3 years. That's even better. So if this is something you'd like to do, REOCA meets 10 months of the year, and we're happy to have you come to a meeting. If you would like to join us, you go to our website, and that little arrow says join right there, and you click there and you can become part of our community. Over the last 3 years, we've become a very important resource for the community, and we've done some pretty cool things, I think. I'm going to give you a brief outline of some of the things we did in last year, 2020. Although it was a crazy year, when I look back, I was really surprised at the things we got done. We started the year off in January. We were having our annual meetings in January, and we had Terry Hart, Commissioner Hart, spoke about all the projects that Pueblo County has been doing with renewable energy. We've received the Soul Smart Award, which is given by the Department of Energy, which welcomes businesses to an area by expediting permitting and those sorts of things for solar. So he was a great kickoff for the year. Next, a big part of why REOCA was born was because, as I mentioned, we had a disagreement, I'll put it nicely, with our utility, and we felt they were unfairly treating solar people. So one of the things that REOCA got very involved in was a movement called Bring Power Home 2020. We took a very active role in that. For those of you not familiar with that, it was a grassroots movement to leave the franchise with Black Hills. Dr. Denning was just referring to Fort Collins is already their own utility. We were hoping to do the same. We had till May 5th to prove to the community the importance of Pueblo being its own boss in deciding our energy needs. So a lot of our energy was focused in that direction. In February, we had a terrific meeting in which Mayor Gradazar gave a description of the new utility. It was going to be run by the Board of Waterworks. He answered, people came with amazing questions and he answered all the questions. It was a wonderful evening to inform the public. And we even raised $1,400 in contributions for the cause. So that was a really nice thing. Then unfortunately, COVID hit. And in March, we were supposed to have another fundraiser, a St. Patty's Day event that was going to be so cool. But unfortunately, you'll have to wait till next year to have green beer. And we have a great Steel City hot dog place. We were going to have hot dogs and a fist bump with the mayor, but COVID got in our way. But we didn't let that stop us from making sure that the public was informed about this municipalization plan. Every day in our mailboxes, we've got brochures like this. I think I had about 7 or 8 of them with all kinds of misinformation about what the utility was going to be. They were Black Hills was claiming it was going to be run by the city, which wasn't true. So REOCA felt that we really needed to debunk all this misinformation. And this was, I think, our first big Zoom experience. In April, we had a really nice interview with Mayor Gradazar. We live streamed it on Facebook. And I thought we did a good job of debunking the different false facts that they were putting forth. We had a great audience and a positive response. And the vote was May 5th, and we thought we were so ready until election night. We were in for a shock. Within a half hour of the polls closing, we found out that we had lost 3-1. However, we were outspent 50-1. So although we didn't win this time, it was definitely a classic David and Goliath situation, but we sure had a lot of heart and we learned a lot of stuff too. So, but we didn't even have any time to lick our wounds, because within weeks, REOCA faced another serious issue in the fight to protect solar. There's another solar organization called Vote Solar, and they informed us of a move by this clandestine group who were trying to change jurisdiction of solar production compensation from state regulated, which it is now, to federal regulation. And basically what that means in lay terms is that the compensation we get for our extra energy would have been decreased by 75%. 75%. So obviously we didn't want this to happen. This would have made installing, one of the wonderful things about installing solar, risky and questionable. So since protecting rooftop solar is part of REOCA's mission, we sprang into action and we sent our membership a Save Solar petition, enlisted them to join other states and deny FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. We wanted to prevent them from having the ability to regulate the compensation. And guess what? Our voices were heard. Over 56,000 people signed the petition, and FERC was denied the ability to do this. So this shows the power of grassroots advocacy. We had 77 members of REOCA join in that fight. So we were proud to help out on that. As REOCA has evolved, we've become aware of the synergy between solar and electric vehicles. It doesn't seem obvious at first, but what better way to defray the cost of electricity needed by your EV than by making your own energy with solar? Electrifying Colorado's transportation sector is one of the top priorities of Governor Polis. I'm going to give you some staggering figures here. The governor's goal is 940,000 EVs by 2030 in Colorado. Just to give you an idea what that would mean, in 2020, in all of Colorado, we only had 30,000. And he wants 940,000. So we better get to be buying those EVs soon. In Pueblo, in case anybody would like to know, in 2020, we only had 183. So we definitely have some work to get to do here. But just like with solar panels, there are some hefty tax credits. I can't give you the exact amount because it depends on the model, but if anybody has any questions about that, we'll be happy to help you figure out how much money you can save. They're really substantial. Last year, I know from the state it was 5,000, and then each model had a different amount depending on how many vehicles they had on the road. So it's still significant, and if you're considering an EV, it would be the time to do it too, because those tax credits will also diminish over the next few years. So to support the infrastructure, as Scott was alluding to, a lot of work has to be done to make that happen. So Black Hills Energy, our utility, is working on a time of use plan, and we're watching it. It hasn't been completed yet. We're watching to see how that's going to affect solar owners because of the time of day that your energy is produced. And this is the first program of this type that they've developed. So we're keeping an eye out, because watching out for our members is what we do. From September through December this past year, Pueblo County, along with REOCA and many other community stakeholders, devised an electric vehicle readiness plan. And we think that REOCA's role will probably be in helping educate the public on the value of EVs. We have a program for solar called Know Before You Go Solar, and I wouldn't be surprised if we develop something similar for electric vehicles. One issue with solar that's a bit of a problem is that the sun goes down, obviously, and sometimes just when folks get home from work and need that power the most. An obvious solution is batteries. They could ultimately be what will make this work. We had a wonderful presentation by EcoMark Solar. They did a presentation mainly on a German battery called Sonnen, one of the most intelligent home batteries. I mean, it practically makes your toast. It was amazing. But the problem with batteries right now is that they're just a little too expensive. So that's another area that REOCA is keeping our eye on, just to see when that becomes something that is beneficial for our membership. And that's another thing too, with all our members, we're hoping to put together a group buy if it becomes reasonable. In 2020, most of our energy had been spent attempting to leave the franchise with Black Hills, as I outlined there. And COVID has changed the way organizations like ours has been operating. So we took the opportunity. We didn't have as many general meetings like this, but we took the opportunity to work on a strategic plan, which I think turned out really great. We're still protecting REOCA, but we're looking to promote solar. We're protecting solar, but we're looking to promote it as well. So if you're a member currently, you're going to be receiving this survey in the next month or so, I believe. And if you're not a member, you can certainly join and be part of deciding where REOCA moves in the future. So watch for this survey. It's going to have a lot of the projects that we talked about in our strategic plan. And we want to know what you would like us to do and what you might like to get involved in. So please, when you receive this, please do fill it out, because it will really help the board of directors decide what direction to go. So I did say board of directors, didn't I? Well, with that segue, it's my pleasure to introduce your 2021 board of directors. I didn't know how many people would be here tonight, so it seemed easier to do it by photographs. I think everybody is here, but I'm going to start with our president, our new president. I have been the old president. We're going to have a new president, Ken Dante. Ken is an engineer, and he was our vice president during 2020. And he has the vision to move REOCA to the next level. Ken, I have total faith in you. Next, Thomas Blumster. Thomas is a professional musician and teacher, and he will serve as our vice president. Thomas has been on many boards, thank goodness, and has been very helpful keeping our meetings both correct and focused. So thank you, Thomas. Next, Heather Mayo. Heather brings 28 years of experience as an environmental health director at the Pueblo Health Department. She is our secretary and keeps the most accurate minutes I think I have ever seen. Alex Leary is the perfect person for your treasurer. He's a licensed stockbroker and knows how to watch people's money. And believe me, he watches REOCA's money very carefully. You don't ever have to worry about that. And later he'll be telling you a little bit more about that. He's going to do our budget for us. Today's organizations require someone who can maintain a website and efficiently manage content. Diane Dante is chair for the Bring Power Home campaign. We are very fortunate to have Diane as our webmaster. Thank you, Diane, really. All of you. The next are our directors at large. We have Nate Baxter, he's an associate at Vidmar Honda, and he is our electric vehicle expert. Sheldon Braun brings 42 years of experience as an electrician. He is a font of knowledge about energy efficiency and where to find great rebates. In fact, they were talking earlier, Scott was saying how energy efficiency is where you need to start. And we really believe in that. And Sheldon can help you find great deals, believe me. Thank you, Sheldon. Kira Hatton-Sena is a government affairs consultant who keeps REOCA apprised of important legislation that may affect solar. Kizzy Thompson is a master electrician and former head of the solar division at Adams Electric. Kizzy's terrific. She keeps us informed from the contractor's point of view. So we know if we're being reasonable, unreasonable, and what is possible. And last but not least, Joe Wanaka. Joe is facilities director at Pueblo Community College, and he's involved in all their renewable energy projects on multiple campuses. So if you notice, and when Manny goes back to the picture of the board, there are two silhouettes there. Those silhouettes are opportunities waiting for people like you to get involved. So if anybody is interested, please let us know. So Ken, I believe I'm going to turn the helm over to you, our new president. Are you there, Ken?
Yeah, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
So there's a couple awards we'd like to present. I'm looking at, first, Tom Corlett, who is a REOCA member, a leads consultant on, excuse me a second here, gotta make an adjustment. And is on the policy committee of when you did that, I lost my script, so give me a second to find it.
Sorry about that, Ken.
It's not a problem. You know, when you're in a Zoom meeting, things change on you, and then you have to kind of find where you're at. So give me a sec.
Manny, why don't you take that off? You don't need to share it any longer.
Yeah, so Tom Corlett, you know, he helped us a lot with our strategic plan. He worked with the board members for many hours. We spent a lot of the last several months updating our strategic plan. We had done a strategic plan a couple of years ago, and of course, all this was by Zoom meeting, right? You know, there were pluses and minuses with this, with meeting this way. You know, the plus is you didn't have to travel. You know, it kept our carbon footprint smaller, but you know, the interpersonal relationships were difficult, right? Because we're just seeing images of people. Anyway, So we'd like to thank Tom, and the certificate that Manny popped up was our way of thanking Tom. So thank you very much, Tom. Any comments?
Did Tom want to say anything? Is Tom there? I saw, I know he had a slight emergency he had to leave for, so he might have left by now.
I'm
But,
still here.
I'm
But
here. I
Oh,
just got back.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Tom, we gave you, you are our mentor in chief, Tom.
I just saw that. I want to thank you all very, very much. That was some of the most wonderful group of people to work with on strategy. And I feel you probably are all capable now of doing that yourselves for updating your plan each year and so forth. But I'm also really pleased to be a member of this organization going forward. I think it's really terrific. So, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was a labor of love. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tom.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom. And you know, Roz did mention that we have the survey coming out, so we're gonna give our membership a glimpse of our strategic plan, and we're hoping that, you know, if there's something that you know, piques your interest, you know, let us know, and you know, we'll figure out how to engage with our membership. You know, Roz also mentioned we have a couple open board seats. We don't necessarily need to fill those, but if there are folks out there, you know, wanting to help, we're sure going to get your help. Okay. Now, I'm also happy to introduce a couple. These are the silhouette couple. Roz and Manny D. Larizatori. None of us would be here celebrating without this couple, who rose to the occasion, who saw, you know, a need to protect rooftop solar, and it wasn't important. Many of us have this big investment. It's important for us to protect that investment. We see, you know, all kinds of people wanting to come and take advantage of us. So it's an important part of REOCA's mission, is the protection part. How can we ever thank Roz and Manny for their hard work? Roz has been president. Manny has been the webmaster. You two have created a legacy. You should be proud, and you will be missed.
Well, thank you, Ken. I'll tell you, it has been a lot of work, but it's really been interesting because at every step of the way, we were presented with the right avenue. I have a friend back east that's here tonight that was my mentor in chief personally, because she's on a board. I'm going to start crying now. I can't believe it. She's on a board and helped me a lot. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. So many of the people here were there at the very beginning, the very first meeting. And the first meeting was October 2017. We weren't official till February the following year. But in that audience, some of you stepped forward, Ken and Alex and Kizzy, and offered your help. It was really wonderful. And the biggest thank you is if this organization moves forward and keeps going, because it's time for a new, my skill set is organization. You have vision, Ken, and that's what the organization needs now. So I thank you for taking the helm, and good luck to all of you.
Well, thanks, Roz. Really appreciate it.
I would like to also express my thanks to the Pueblo community that embraced us with open arms when we moved here, and allowed us to, and excuse my sentimentality here a little bit, but the Pueblo community was instrumental in our growth, personal growth, because it allowed us to get involved first in a first lifetime experience for us, which was the election in 2016, and we got involved. Kira Hatton told us, get the envelope, and she became the actual president of our precinct. And I ran the Bernie Sanders campaign, and we met a lot of wonderful people that are unfortunately not here tonight, but I would like to say their names and express my thanks to Rick Ringler and Meral Sarper and David Cockrell, who is here with us tonight, and Tom Corlett, and a lot of people who really help us find a footing here and a way forward, and helped us grow personally. Thank you all.
Well, thanks again, Roz and Manny. You know, obviously you'll probably stay connected with REOCA. You can be a member wherever you go, and you're always welcome. So moving on, you know, part of our annual meeting is to do a quick review of the accounting aspects, and Alex Leary is our treasurer. And if you're wondering where our dues go, Alex is going to give you a review of the 2020 budget and our 2021 budget.
Excellent. Okay, let me share my screen here. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is our 2020 annual report. Summarizes the actual spending, like the money going in on the top part, money going out, expenses on the bottom section. Clearly, because of COVID, you know, it wasn't something that we had baked into our budget, you know, which was created in December and January, you know, the year prior. So couldn't foresee it, of course, but we made adjustments on the fly and still had, you know, a positive change in reserves in terms of our cash position at the end of the year. So the dues that we collected were fairly in line with what we collected for 2019, and then you know, we have additions, you know, outside of dues. No government grants for 2020, nor really any fundraising, which that was a big departure from 2019. But because of everything going on, it made it much harder to do any sort of giveaway or silent auction the way that we had envisioned it, at least. As far as our expenses, we still had, you know, directors and officers insurance, of course, during 2020. No really like partnership fees as far as other organizations, because not as many organizations were doing meetings and that sort of thing where we felt that we had to do that. Still had advertising, professional fees, increase in postage. Just in terms of the communication aspect when you don't have those physical meetings. No hospitality or conference expenses, mostly because of COVID. Still had some equipment expenses, office supplies. Technology definitely went up, not just the addition to Zoom, just other improvements and with our technology and our website. That became a more important way to reach people, of course. And then, you know, accounting and merchant fees were fairly in line with what we experienced in 2019. So at the end of the year, our change in financial position, we were $405 better off than where we were from 2019. So.
Okay. Was that all then, Alex?
Yeah, that's all I got as far as the annual report, unless there are any questions.
Yeah. Any questions?
This is Charles Paulson.
Uh-huh.
How are we doing for dues for 2021?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't think we've collected a whole lot yet. It seems like there are certain points in the year, usually later in the year, where we kind of have a push to notify people as far as getting dues. So I think, like, when I was going through this in terms of doing all our accounting for last year, I noticed a lot of dues came in like September and October, because that's when we kind of have the big push to get people to renew their membership if they haven't already. So,
Yes, we gave a $5 discount in July for people to sign up or renew,
mhm.
and that worked out very well. Another thing that is working well from the website point of view is that people are getting their notifications to renew in a timely manner, and people are able to renew online through PayPal with no problem at all. So
Yeah.
that part is working well.
Yeah, we have seen more people doing PayPal, which is definitely good. I encourage folks to do PayPal if you have a PayPal account or you're comfortable with doing electronically. So
Yeah, so obviously, dues are important to our future, right? So we're counting on our membership to hopefully grow and sustain itself, um, and we will be working to improve that. Of course, there's nobody here taking salary. It's all we're all making the same, zero. Um, so we're doing it. We're doing this out of because we care about the environment. We care about REOCA's mission, and we want to make sure that we protect our investments that we've made to help the environment. So, are there any other questions or concerns? If not, thank you, Alex. And I think that wraps up the annual meeting for 2021.
Right. Before we adjourn, anyone who has questions, specific questions for Dr. Denning, put them in the chat window right now before we adjourn, because we will send Dr. Denning the text of the chat window, and he can answer the questions that may be directly asked of him.
Okay, with that,
Thanks, everyone.
Before we close,
okay.
Ken, could I just make a quick addition to these credits that people can get for installing? Well, anyhow,
Yeah, go ahead. Paul.
I'm in the process of. I've actually had the ChargePoint HomeFlex 240 volt thing installed in my house, and I did it back in 2020 because it was supposed to have expired. It also has been extended into 2021, and it's a 30% reduction of the cost of your charger and installation. And then also Black Hills still gives a $500 credit also. So if I get all my money back, basically $1,000 that I spent, I'm probably going to end up paying about $300 or $400 out of pocket. So that's for somebody that's looking to, and I haven't even bought my electric vehicle yet. I am looking. I'm also realizing that for those of us that can't afford to buy a Tesla at around $30,000 to $40,000, there are excellent used vehicle choices, particularly with the Chevy Bolt and also the Nissan Leaf. And of course, it depends on how much mileage that you think you can get out of it, or that you need in order to make it justified to buy this thing. But I'm really excited about it, and I would welcome talking to anybody that already owns a vehicle, particularly anybody that want to use one, and sources and stuff. I found a lot of places, but I'm really excited about buying an EV and starting to save money that way. And I always like to close with the fact that when I started my solar system back in 2012, I was paying approximately $135 to $140 a month for my electricity. When they put the system in, it went to like $20 a month, and then it dropped to $9.76 a month. And I am saving so much money with this solar system. The one cool thing that happened recently, though, was, and this, I've had the system in place since 2012. I got a call from, and it's a leased system from Solar City. They called me, or actually they sent me an email and said, your inverter is not working anymore. And I said, well, maybe it's because of the snow. And that was the case. I had snow on my panels for like 5 days back here about a week or two ago. And my system was not putting out any energy at all. Now that the snow has melted, it's back and working and everything. But it's amazing to me, in the 8 to 9 years that I've had it in production, this is the first time I've had any problem with it at all. And it was because of bad weather. And thanks for letting me share.
It's nice that they're watching out for you too, right? To tell you that maybe there's an issue going on when they don't know what's snowing, right? So
Right. Yeah. And that was the case. I was glad that they had sent it to me, because I went immediately to my production graph that I have, and I realized it had just started recently. It wasn't like it had been down for 2 weeks or something. And then I wrote him back and said, yeah, I think it's the snow. And sure enough, that's what it was. Thanks.
well, thanks, Charles.
I want to just answer something that someone asked here, because I think everybody might be thinking about it, since Charles just mentioned used EVs. Several years ago, there was it was possible to get some rebates on used EVs that had been purchased outside of Colorado, like California. Used EV that came into Colorado that had never gotten the rebate here was able to get it. Now that is not the case. So that is something that REOCA was looking into. We don't know why that program was taken back, but it was in 2016. So there's nothing yet, but that is something that we're working on. So keep the faith.
Thanks, Ross. Anybody else have a comment, or if not?
Well, Ken, can I just jump in? I'm just bubbling over, so I promise not to take more than 10 or 15 seconds. But I just want to say, I think Roz and Manny's contributions to us in Pueblo, I mean, REOCA is the pinnacle, and their leadership has really been great. But they have done so much to demonstrate to this community that good-spirited people can move here, buy property, find a role in the community, be leaders to implement their values. And they have taught all of us what it means to be a civic-minded citizen of the community. And in all kinds of venues, all kinds of campaigns. Over all these years, I'm so honored to have met you and had the chance to do this. I will definitely be on your doorstep in Panama within months. So get yourselves ready. And thank you for all you've contributed over these years since you've been here.
Get your sailboat down there. We'll go cruising to the islands in Panama.
Yeehaw, it's a deal.
Thank you, really. It has been a labor of love. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay.